reinforce those walls, you make a rotate on this wall. While rotate, it's mostly to play behind this cabinet, in case somebody is pushing from a barista, and you can either leave from it, you have a shield, you could place a shield here to protect yourself from this, and usually you could stay here and crouch the whole entire time because this is metal, fully metal. For this one, I've seen people doing a rotate on this side and putting head holes for this one. But usually you need someone to be on top of an elevated spot to be able to throw traps. You have your rotate that is connected to the other bump side. I'd say you just don't rotate, you reinforce the left one. The only issue maybe with this one would be this door, since it is destructible. And somebody could hold you from this, but besides that, you're pretty protected all around if you have a rotate on the right side. On the left side, he could see you from there on the left side, from here. So if you don't protect yourself from this spot, you will get fried by this person holding it from the pull stick. Next up, on the barista, the bar pull bar, again on the right side, reinforce on the left side. This would be a default plant spot. If it comes to this side, this would be the default plant spot right here. And having this forced would just put you open to this hole, like I said. So this would be good since you don't expose yourself if you were here. So always reinforce this one and leave this open. Crouch hold. Now you'll say, well, what if someone is holding me from here? Well, you could have a shield in this section, this spot, and he won't be able to challenge you from here. But for here, you have almost the whole side in front of you. Now, for tequila, you could place some traps like 2 pop bars. If somebody punched it, the person that is right here, you could challenge the person just punching it, and you have this pillar right behind you to protect you. So you can play around it, couple shots, traps, and you're there's a pretty open spot. So if someone could be right here with a shotgun, fries you just have to be careful with this person repelling, or this door, because this doorway can hold you the whole entire time. Now for aqua, I've seen some people doing foot holes. It is not that great, especially on your side, since if someone were on this repel, you can't see anyone. Not this low, but you could see anyone just walking into this. What you could do is either head holes, not a full head hole, but head holes. A bit risky, probably just these ones and not this one, but either head holes or you reinforce it. For this one, bolt hole, but you could make it a full hole since you're gonna be protected if you do reinforce this wall. That's important. So you could protect yourself, but if you do reinforce this wall, you could just play around it. So the person has to do this the whole entire time. So mostly you would do a crouch hold, a full rotate, but you could go with the jump rotate just to sneak past the person trying to plant. Now for Dawn, I call it Dawn because this is the brand that they use, the Dawn Hookah. I like the cigar a lot. Lounge or humidor. Crouch rotate, get protected by this wall, and you could reinforce this one. You have to just worry about this one person holding you from barista to kitchen. But besides that, you're pretty protected. Now for this one, you could do a head holes. To challenge the person going from aqua. They won't be able to just pass through and see everything from here. They don't see everything from here. Usually you have to be here, and even if. So I'd say head holes, or you could reinforce this, but you're gonna give up some space. This space is gonna be really important. Breaking this wall is gonna lead you to this other spot, which is here. You just have to worry about those 2 doorways. But if you have a Aurora, just block those doors. This is easiest Right. But yeah, this would be the side for cigar, and there's 2 poles, so be careful with that, you know. So I forget to talk about those 2 walls, which is gonna be really important to talk about. First of all, if you reinforce this, you can still break it and rappel down and see the whole side. So if you were to do this, those head holes, you're gonna have to be careful about the person going down this rappel, since they can see pretty much the whole entire side. Like, I mean, you can see the whole entire side from this position. Of course, a lot of people would just start playing here, you'll fry him, or like be in this position, but I would say this is not a strong position to be in, especially if you're in the open. You have this rappel to worry about, this guy who could not swing you, but like hold you. So of course there's the other side that he's kind of worry about, so it's a risk factor. You have also this window which you have to worry about, so you have to be careful. So when you reinforce those 2, be careful about this. Just be careful about this, and be careful about another person being like playing here, not playing here, but like, you know, you need someone to play here if they do play on this hole. But yeah, so back to the next map. Now for CCTV, probably, I mean, it's gonna be pretty common when people are gonna learn how to play this one. First off, reinforce the walls, of course, head holes in this one, because you can play around this. You know, you can set up traps, this, and you can block off the person playing. You could reinforce this, or you do close, since you're gonna be protected if you see someone walking in here, and you could have a shield right here to protect you if he's trying to, like, you know, attack you, whatever. The second foothold, since it's a pretty tight spot for any attacker to walk past him, and I mean, you can fry anyone from like a distance, especially when you have this as your second rotate. You have this long angle, and they cannot challenge you from this. That's a really good angle. Now for the second rotate, this one from cash to CCTV, you're protected by this wall. If you got, you're protected by this counter, and you cannot get challenged by anything besides, I mean, if this gets break, like if this wall get broken, then that's the only way for them to kill you. Then reinforce those 2 walls. I don't see a reason why not to. You could put traps, something to block from them droning. But here you can just, you know, wires. If you hear someone like tapping it, then you have a weapon cache. Honestly, only thing that you could do in the weapon cache would be a shield right here. A shield, but you have to be careful of this doorway, and if they do approach from this doorway. You could do a tape to play in elevator. In the elevator, you can just leave, so if the person is, of course, holding this, and another one is holding this, then you can just walk out. Of course, you're gonna have to reinforce this. You could reinforce this. But I wouldn't, because this would be a really strong. Default spot, right? So having a C4 to break the person planting here, especially if you break this wall, you can just plant here, and you're protected from everywhere except this doorway. The other one I have in mind is this one. This one is also pretty good. It's almost the same thing as the other one, but you have to worry about this person playing in the server room, and the other one in the, especially like if he's right there, he sees you. He just sees you. So you're gonna have to be careful when it comes to this person playing here, especially that they can't set up themselves. They can jump here, set up themselves here, and they cannot be seen. If they just do this, they cannot see them. Now for this wall, they reinforce it. There's no reason to have walls. You just gotta give the attacker an advantage, especially if they break this whole entire wall, since you can see almost the whole CCTV from the POV, especially if they are repelled. They could repel this whole line, and you cannot cross it. Of course, I mean, if you don't react, if they don't react correctly, yes, sure, but that's still a risk to not take, because this is really long sight. So you could reinforce this just slightly to reinforce this one, since this one leads to outside. So it's a weird wall, but you reinforce this, and the person don't cannot do like some sort of weird holes and then fries you. Unless you want to do those holes and you know somebody's gonna play from here, you could make them, but they're gonna see it first before you get to see them. So you're gonna have to be careful with that. Clockwise, stay away, and you play longer, back up a little bit. Then you have those holes, so if he's trying to challenge you, you can see them. You can just put yourself into this corner. You could make it rotate here, but I'd say it's better to have those head holes, like really like high head holes. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for CCTV. I mean this one's gonna be a really good map to attack since it's pretty. There's no weird. I'm not saying. I mean there isn't some weird stuff from this map, so it's pretty linear. Especially there's a lot of like good plant spots on this one. Yeah, this would be a CCTV. Now, let's say you won all of your maps, whatever, right? I would say if you have to choose between bar and betting, bar and betting, or poker and blackjack, I would rather have this than the other one, since this one is going to be way easier to defend as a defender than the other side. So, of course, rotate, important. This one is going to be really good since you could immediately fry the person who is going for this default plant, which is going to be here. That's the most default of the default plant. Reinforce this, you reinforce this, and you do rotate on this one. This will be your protector factor. This would protect you from person playing this poker. I think this one is a poker. Yeah, pretty much protected from this. You're like protected from because of this slip table. The issue would be, of course, if somebody plays in those hallways, but that's not going to be likely until people understand this map as much as they do. Like, reinforce. Unless you want to play a bathroom shot, I wouldn't recommend it really. I'd say just reinforce those walls. You reinforce also this one, or you could just do head holes, or like those high holes, just so that can trap the person who's trying to play roulette. So if you have info of a person playing, you have this to protect yourself. Now for bar, you could reinforce these two walls. I would put footholds on this side, since you can see the person in the whole all the way. If someone comes out this window, I'm going to be able to see him from this window, and you'll be able to get challenged by this person also playing, like trying to go on janitor, since this hole's gonna you're gonna see him, like pretty much. If you're here, you can see him pretty much. So I'd say go with the footholds. It's gonna be a bit better for this side. So I would say reinforce those two walls, unless you want to play on this wall. But like, even if you're gonna have to take care of the guy in main lobby who's gonna hold this the entire time. So yeah, you have to be careful to this guy. So reinforce those walls, since you're not gonna use them as much. I don't see why you would use them. Make a crouch rotate probably, or like a vault rotate, but it's more like an advantage for them for you to have it. So reinforce those two walls. Reinforced this wall, footholds, since the person who's gonna like go up the stairs, they're gonna also get fired by the person just playing here. This one, rotate, and you can also make head holes, so you can play a little bit deeper from it instead of only playing here and then get this to worry about. Get here and have only this to worry about. Could I have a castle, just castle this? I'd say it's better to have all this protection. Like, by the time the person sees this, then he's gonna get fried by the guy just playing there. Also, you could break this, so if you hear them, you can just fry them before they get to the stairway. But for that, I wouldn't recommend as much, because that could be a double-edged sword. If the person is good enough, if he sees the wood, the floor is gonna look up. Same thing for this one. Now, I would do a hole actually. Instead of just having those holes, I think I would do a full tequila and baiting hallway. Gonna be a pretty important part to defend, since you have the window right here, or the doorway right here. The door's like right here, yeah. You have this door right here, where they just go downstairs and the site is in front of them. So I would say a hole, so you can play around it. If you get flooded, you can just leave, and you can also use it at your advantage, where if they walk past, they get fried. But you can also put like I said, footholds, this one, so that the person who's playing this section this section can just also fry from like his distance, like you won't. Person playing here won't be able to do anything. Now you could castle this one also. It's pretty good. For this hallway, you could make a rotate actually here. But I don't know. I think you reinforce those two walls. I think reinforcing those two walls is already good enough. You could make a hole, rotate hole on this one. You could reinforce this one, or you could just do head holes, so you can play behind it. You can play if you have a shield like right here, either of these direction. You have a shield protected by this guy trying to come from poker, and then you get this for vending machine. Then you can just back up if you get flooded, or you could do footholds, but I wouldn't recommend that also, since mostly you don't want to play like this. You have nothing except this, and you have the killer to worry about. So I'd say if you want to play here, you're gonna have to reinforce this one, put some head holes here, and you get a shield right here to get protected. And yeah, so you're just gonna have to be careful about those. This default plant spot, and there's another default plant spot, which is this one. Since you are protected by anything, there's nothing that just sees you. This one's gonna be really strong to plant, and especially if you do break those walls, they're gonna see anyone trying to like trying to defuse whatever. Default plant right here, as I said, reinforce those two walls, footholds, reinforce, crouch rotate, head holes. You could make a crouch rotate or footholds. You put some barbed wires right here, so that the person doesn't see you, and you can like, if you hear them, you can just fry them. And of course, you're gonna have to reinforce this one, because if you don't reinforce this, they can just flood the plant right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a pretty good site setup. Could be better, of course, if you extend it till, I don't know, Aqua, which is gonna be really hard to play on. But yeah, I'd say this one is a pretty good map. A pretty good site in general. I'd say this one could be my favorite out of out of the four. Would be this one my number one, if it is played correctly, of course. Okay, so I totally forgot about Azami, which is gonna change the whole site setup differently. Like, it's gonna change a whole lot. So you would reinforce this if you have Azami and a vault rotate, just to be protected from this one guy who is playing from this doorway. So let's say the guy that's playing on stock gets killed and stock is getting controlled. You are protected by this particular wall, and you can also challenge the person trying to go for this default plant. Now this one I will change to do a rotate on this one, reinforce this one, and head holes on this one. Of course, you're gonna have to be careful on the vending machine, since they're gonna see you playing here. And you could, I mean, if you have whatever warden, mute, make those holes like I said, and if you get challenged, throw a C4 or smoke, whatever, and you'll be protected. Now of course, this is gonna be pretty strong since you're holding like some really tight pixels. You could also have one behind this one. You know, you're pretty much protected a good amount of time. This one you can back up, still hold this, holding this. You have like a lot of option from this, of course. And if someone does come from vending machine, sees you, you could place a crouch, not a crouch, but like on top of it. And if you hear them punch, you could, I mean, of course, you could see them from air. Of course, that's if they don't back up or crouch or whatever. But if you do hear them punching, you can just pre-fire them like easily. But that's only if you have a Azami. If someone plays Azami, then I'd say this is a good option, since, you know, rotate this one, reinforce. You can't just leave from it. It's gonna be protected by those Azamis. You could put a Azami here actually. So you could have a Azami right here. So as I said, you can play around it. You'll be protected all the way from poker until roulette, bar, baiting, whatever. You have your rotate right here to see anybody trying to come in from stock. Either Azami here, so you can walk on your Azami, so it's going to be way harder for the attacker to try to challenge you. So yeah, you could have those weird pixels from this like weird angle because of those two chairs that is blocking the barrier. And I mean, he's gonna get cooked. You could have one right here to protect you from going out your rotate, or of course pushed off. But yeah, Azami would be good to play in roulette, especially since having this open as a vault hold, and this has a reinforcement. It will change the game a little bit. Of course, the reason why I would say only Azami is because you cannot place a shield right in front of the doorway for some reason. But if you go in this way, and I mean, you could play around this shield. You know, you could get into your rotate, I guess, but that's a pretty tight angle, or it's a pretty tight shield to have. So just to look out for this. That's for sure. Remember when I said this could be easily the worst site in this map? Then it is the worst site in this map. First of all, you reinforce those two walls since it leads to outside. Then for this one, you could reinforce either of the wall, but you have to do a rotate. Now for the rotate, you could have it on the left side, on the right side. I'd say the reinforcement on this wall and on the left side, to get protected by the guy playing from poker to blackjack. And you can just worry about those two instead of having this, which I mean, it's gonna take some time before people realize that to destroy this. But at the same time, people don't play this side as much. If they do, I mean, they have to worry about this. But you could also worry about this door. So you could play here. Now we have a shield in the middle. Here you can switch, and to also be careful about this window and this drone hole, because they could flash you. You know, ying flash, and then you can do nothing. Straight up do nothing. Now, for this one, I genuinely don't know which way to do. My one issue that I have is this little hole. Since I think that's pretty good. The issue would be this. That's my only issue for like this little hole. Let's say, you know, you reinforce this. If you're rotate on the left, or on your left, of course, and you're gonna have to extend to Roulette, because if you don't, then you're gonna be good. Now, footholes on this one. So anybody who is coming from bar, you could see them. Same as anybody coming from the hallway. Reinforce those walls so that this person gets protected by, I mean, the person playing bathroom is protected, and he has this doorway to worry about. And you could reinforce this one, and you have head holes here. But I think you shouldn't have head holes, because the person playing on the baiting hallway could see the whole roulette, almost the whole roulette. So you could reinforce this actually. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to reinforce this one also. Now, you would reinforce this. I would say reinforce, but you make I mean, I did a mistake, of course. But to do a vault, it's a vault rotate instead of like a crouch rotate. Since you could play both ways in case that they do break this wall, and you're protected by the guy trying to like come from, you know, vending machine or aqua. So if somebody trying to like play here, then you'll be protected by this wall. But yeah, this one should be a vault rotate, of course. And yeah, you're gonna have to extend yourself to like almost aqua to here also. I think it's gonna be the same setup. This one I would do not the full hole, just the how do you call it? Just the head holes. Actually, no, you can't. But you could get protected. Try to put tequila. You're gonna have to be careful about this doorway. That's why you could put, you know, while runners, people are just gonna like walk past it, so proxy alarm, trap, whatever. But you could play against the person trying to play attack you from tequila, and of course you're gonna have to put some traps to protect yourself from playing aqua, and also being careful about this window. But yeah, this site is gonna be, I'd say it's gonna be one of the hardest sites if people do not play this site like they want. Of course, a lot of this is gonna be wood, so this, especially above default plant. Again, wood above default planet. Like this could be default, not this one, but this one could be default, but I don't know if they can see you from here. If they plant here, oh, yeah, it's not that easy, but you know, you can reinforce this, and you gotta reinforce the one on, and you can reinforce this one on bar. But that's, I mean, you're not forced to. I'd say you could keep it. That's just me. That's just me. That you have to worry about. So yeah, it's gonna be a very heavy attack-sided map. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. Yeah, have fun playing on this map.